Sam Logue here for Green Blood Boxing. Delighted to be joined by the Kingdom Warrior. That is Kevin Cronin. Kev, how you doing, bud?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm pretty good, man. I'm pretty good. Thanks for coming up. Well, obviously you come up to train today with your coach Jonathan Lewins in Dublin in Sallynoggin, but thanks very much for agreeing to come out and have a chat with me.
Anytime, by anytime.
Good man. So obviously we start with, you have a fight on the 26th of June in Alicante, Spain, obviously with your promoters, Boxing Ireland Promotions. Just talk to me briefly about the excitement or how you're feeling kind of in the lead up to that fight.
Yeah, just under 4 weeks. Do you know what? It's I'm happy to get the fight now because it's not too far long gone from my last fight. So that was in the March. Yeah. So it's good to get out nice and quick again. Done a 6-rounder there a couple of, how long is March? Two months ago, something like that. I don't even know what we're in now, to be honest. But anyway, 2-3 months ago, and get out now. Maybe 4-rounder over here, and then look, hopefully successful over. Get some good rounds under the belt, and push on then for an 8-rounder in October. Yeah.
100%. As you said, it's only about 3 months, and then you'll hopefully be on again in October, which I'm sure you will, and I'm sure things will go well for you in this 4-rounder in Spain. But talk to me about camp. How has it been? Obviously, we were chatting briefly off camera there. You're living in Kerry still, but you're training with Jonathan Lewins up here in Sallynoggin in Dublin, kind of up 2 to 3 times a week, depending. You're obviously mixing in a full-time job there as well. So talk to me about your preparations for this fight and kind of, over the last few weeks, how's it gone? And how is it kind of navigating between kind of coming up to Dublin, and how's that part of camp?
Yeah, do you know what? It's the same. It's really the same as my camp for Luxembourg, which was basically get up as much as I can. Look, it could be once a week, could be twice a week, could be 3 times a week. But I have a padman as well down in Kerry, so we're always working, whether we're up here or down home. You know, I'm working with my strength and conditioning coach Peter Donoghue below home, and the padman as well, Patrick, and then get up here, and we're getting quality rounds as well down in Cork and Limerick and Kerry. So camp is going good. Obviously, I was away with work there for 2 weeks as well, which didn't help with the camp, but I was still getting in my trainings and still working hard. But yeah, look, I'm in a good place. My weight, I'm feeling good with my weight. Training's going good. Fitness is good. We're really going testing the tank in the spar today, so today's going to be one of the heavier spars, so I'm looking forward to that as well. So we're really going to know where we're at now today.
Class. So you're up sparring today. Talk to me about the logistics though of kind of living in Kerry and coming to train in Dublin. Is it ever a thought of kind of in the future trying to go full time and come up and live in Dublin and train with Jonathan, or what are the difficulties of kind of coming up and back and not being solely based in one area?
Yeah, do you know, really, I'm just going to have to see where boxing takes me, because you know what, one good win could change your life in this sport, and you could just, me and Jano could end up over in Las Vegas or somewhere. You just don't know where it's going to take you. You know, a win, or even a loss, then can put you in different places as well. But coming up to Dublin full time, I'd love to do it, but at the minute, you know what, driving up and down, I don't mind it. Some people do, it bothers them, but I kind of zone out on the way up, and I click back then come around this, so I take no notice of the travelling. If I could get up, I'd drive up 5 days a week as well, if I could. So look, I don't mind the travelling up and down to Dublin at the minute, and look, going off of how my last performance went as well, and the condition and everything I was in, my fitness, I can't complain with how things are going right now. So look, let's see, maybe things will change over the next couple of months, but we just have to see.
Yeah, okay, that's fair enough. You're obviously working as a firefighter at the moment, full time, which is something you've told me that you quite enjoy. How is it balancing work life with trying to be, I suppose, a full-time athlete as well? How's that? It's well, not easy, but I am balancing them very well because I'm on call with the fire station. So when I'm not on call, when I'm not out at a call, I'm training, and it's in Tralee. I'm living in Tralee, and I'm training in Tralee when I'm down home as well. So everything's within a couple of minutes of each other. So, like, the worst thing that could happen is my pager goes off while I'm training, and I have to leave. But the gym where I'm training is just around the corner from the fire station. So it's like we finish up whatever we're doing, back to the gym, finish what I'm doing. With sparring and things, 2-3 times a week, I just have to kind of book it off for a spar. That's about it. It's actually, it's ideal, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
It's very, very good down there. Just everything's so close together. It's very easy balance.
Yeah, it does actually sound like it's the perfect kind of job.
Well, it kind of makes it sound a bit.
Yeah.
It sounds a bit nicer there, but I'm balancing them. Yeah.
You're balancing it well. Let's put it that way. So I'm interested in then. Obviously, you're splitting your time between Dublin and Kerry, but how is your relationship with Jonathan Lewins? Talk to me about training with him, and talk to me also about how you kind of come to know about Jonathan, how you met him, and how you kind of formed a relationship with him.
Yeah, so it started when I had already turned over. I signed with Boxing Ireland, and it was I didn't actually know Stephen Sharp too well then. It was more Leonard I knew well, and I was just in touch with Leonard a lot, and he was kind of trying to see what was the best move for me, because obviously, even though I trained with my amateur coach and all that, you still wanted someone with that professional experience there. And he got back to me and he said, like, Joe, what did I think about Dublin? And I said, look, I'd be willing to travel, Joe, if it's going to benefit my career.
Definitely, yeah.
So he just said, look, he'd like for me to try out with Jonathan Lewins a bit, because he just thinks he's a style that I could gel with. And obviously we were taking a chance. Joe, it was just a test period really at the start, and like the transition over. At the start I was like, no, John, we're not clicking, this isn't going to work right, John. But I think it was just me transitioning to the style, to the pro style at the start. It was just like one day in the gym, we were just on pads, and next thing it just clicked like that, and next thing everything just started going well from there. And since then me and John Joe, we gelled well, and then I'm coming on leaps and bounds with him right now. So to be honest, it was the perfect move, because like, he could have said any coach in Ireland, and it could have went very wrong, but he didn't. He said Jono, and I came to Jono, and I just think we're the perfect match for a boxer and trainer together right now, because everything's going so good. And I think you can see that in the fights as well, because each fight I've shown, obviously, look, my first fight, you've debut nerves and you want to come out and you want to get the stoppage, but in the last two fights, John, I've showed a different style each fight, which I plan to do again in 4 weeks' time, is come out and show a different style. And I think that's just shows how well me and Jono are gelling together, that he can trust me to go in and try a new style out in a fight, rather than just doing the same thing over and over. So right now we're on a learning period. We're learning each fight, trying something new for when the bigger fights come, and then we'll know what to do, and if something's not working out in there, we'll always have a backup plan to change to.
That's interesting. So is your approach then to kind of try to be multifaceted as a fighter, rather than to kind of pick a style and to just kind of go with that style, and maybe you neglect certain elements then, certain stylistic elements in your game, and you kind of just forfeit that, okay, I'm not going to do that, but I'm going to be really good at a certain thing. So it sounds to me like you guys are trying to kind of develop in a way that you have different abilities, different, like a plan A, plan B, plan C, so that when something doesn't go right or something's not working, that you have the ability, say, to become forward, like a front foot fighter, and then you have the ability to become a back foot fighter or whatever, you know what I mean? Yeah. Defensive or aggressive, you have the ability to switch it up. Is that kind of the mentality of being completely multifaceted as a fighter and being able to kind of do pretty much everything?
Yeah, well, look, what you said, look, I want to be as well-rounded as possible. Yeah. Because you know what? We've seen it so many times before. Fighters stick to the same style throughout half their career, and next thing they're put in a spot, like, I'm just going to use Anthony Joshua and Andy Ruiz. Andy Ruiz came at Joshua, and when he wobbled him, Joshua didn't have a plan B, because he never had to use a plan B, or he never really tried a plan B before, so he didn't actually know what to do. Yeah. Like, I don't want to be put in that position. I don't see why in, say, 7 fights time I'm put in a position where I'm losing the fight, and then I'm just looking at the lights saying, Joe, what am I to do? Joe, what am I to do? And my corner, can't exactly tell me do what we done before, because we haven't done it before. So I think I know every fight is dangerous, but we're still on a building phase, and it's the perfect time to get as well rounded as possible, rather than waiting till we're put in a situation where you can't get out of it.
100% makes so much sense. But in saying that, do you have a kind of a style that you tend towards? Do you know what I mean?
Would you say that you're a come forward kind of aggressive fighter, power puncher? What kind of, like, for the people who may not have seen much of you in the past, kind of tell us, like, what are your natural tendencies as a fighter?
You know, I think it's kind of down to who I'm fighting, what style I'm fighting. I don't just fight the same style all the time. When I turned over first, Joe, they were calling me a puncher, and I was kind of, obviously, look, my first fight, I'd done a small bit of boxing, a small bit of punching, and in my second fight, the style that was put in front of me, it was the best way that I found to win that fight was to be a bit of a puncher.
Yeah.
So I was a puncher, and in there, I was saying, they're writing up saying I was a puncher and I'm a fighter, and there was nothing about boxing. I'm not a boxer, so I kind of said, you know what, my next fight, I got to show that I'm a boxer. So I done that in my last fight, rather than walking at my opponent and landing some hard shots in him. I said, right, I'm going to prove that I can box as well as fight. So I went out and I gave him a boxing lesson and stopped him at that. But no, I don't think I have a certain style that suits me the best. I think I am just getting. I'm not. I don't think I'm there yet, as in well-rounded, all-round yet, but I'm getting there, and it really is just down to the style that's put in front of me, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Okay, I get you. So you can do everything, but you're still working. You can switch between styles, but you're working to make all of those particular different styles better. Yeah, 100%. So Kev, the fight on the 26th of June in Alicante, obviously no opponent named. Hopefully you'll get a name soon.
Yeah.
Not that maybe it doesn't matter too much at the moment. You're probably going to focus on yourself and what you bring to the table. But I'm interested in what your kind of mentality is when you're fighting abroad. So your last fight was in Luxembourg. This fight is obviously in Spain. Does it make a difference fighting abroad? Does it change your preparation in any way? Can you talk to me about that?
Do you know what? After my first fight in Dublin, I was talking with Lynn and Stephen, and I said, I'd like to get as many fights as possible abroad. Really, to be honest, do it kind of like Jason Quigley done and Ray Milet and all them build abroad. It kind of makes people more eager than at home to see you come home and fight. But at the same time, the main reason behind it is to get that experience of fighting abroad, and it is invaluable experience. To go to London, to get off the plane, and you have to make weight and everything like that. It's completely different to driving to Dublin, because I can make weight at home in Kerry and then drive up into the weigh-ins. Whereas when you're flying to London, or Spain or Luxembourg, you have to make weight over there. Your weight is fluctuating on the plane, and
like the temperature is different in that country and stuff like that. You retain water differently and stuff, right?
Yeah, there's so many factors to take into play. So even in boxing, since you could get jet lagged if the flight was long enough, or if there's delays in the flight, that's all going to come into your head as well, and again, weight will affect. So I'd like to get as many fights abroad. It's not something that bothers me, not fighting at home.
Yeah.
Like, I love fighting in front of my home crowd as well, and I can't wait to get back in front of them. But fighting abroad, I like as well, just to build that experience. And I know not everyone in Ireland is the same style, but like you go to Mexico, they're all come forward fighters. I imagine Spain are kind of like. They're kind of a breed of Mexicans, they like to come forward and fight as well. And then in England, they're more boxers. So every country you go to as well, you're meeting a different style, which is another thing I want. Is a different style every fight.
Yeah.
So abroad, I like.
That's good to know, man. It's good. It's I think it's a good mindset to have as well. Like, you want to experience as many different things in your career as possible, which will all stand you in good stead as you kind of get higher up the ranks. I think, which kind of segues nicely into, I heard you talk about wanting to fight in Kerry, wanting to bring kind of, not necessarily putting pressure on Len and Stephen, but trying to get them to bring it. Yeah, letting them know that let's go, bring a show back to Kerry that you can headline. How much of a realistic possibility is that in the next, say, 12 to 18 months? And
well, we haven't exactly sat down and said, right, let's do this date in Kerry, but I think it's very, very realistic in the next 12 to 18 months that will happen. Obviously, look, we need to sit down and talk about it, and I'm not going to get ahead of myself, because I have this fight in a couple of weeks' time, and then I've got get over that. You know, I've Belfast and get over that. I've Dublin. So you know, there's a nice few Irish fights coming up. But look, after that, as I said, I'm going to get an 8-rounder in Belfast. After that, I'm going to sit down with the boys and we're going to talk about it, because you know what, there's going to be a big fight there for me, and if I have to fight, they know where I want that fight. And like, I'm not acting as if I'm faking Tyson Fury or someone saying, oh, that fight has to be on my ground, Joe, but it makes sense, and I think they know it makes sense, because I don't know, the capacity of the INEC Glow, I think it's like 7,000 or 8,000. They know well every single seat to be sold out in that place, because ever since I mentioned it, not as a joke, but I just put it out there that I'd like to fight John in the INEC someday. It must have been a year or more ago, and just blown up even down home. Everyone wants me to fight in the INEC. So if there was going to be a domestic title fight, I think the INEC would be the spot to have it.
Yeah, I've been to the INEC. It's a good setup. Like, that would be amazing. Yeah, and so is the following in Kerry really that intense? And I think it's something we see as well in Ireland, that we have it in Dublin, but I think sometimes down the country the followings can be really intense, like, because there wouldn't be too many boxers from Kerry, too many pros from around your neck of the woods. So obviously you're kind of a single guy for everyone to get behind, and when there's a little bit of hype and stuff, do you find that you really have a lot of fans, a lot of support down at home?
Yeah, do you know what? Training throughout the year, it's just normal training, but as soon as there's a fight coming up, or you're getting close to a fight, you start realising, there's a lot of people who follow me, and then, like, obviously it's different when you win and lose a fight, because people say when they lose a fight, no one's there for you. But let's say, just give an example, the fight in London, the fight in Luxembourg, when I win them fights, I'm only saying to my missus, I didn't even read the messages in my Instagram thing. Like, there was just hundreds and hundreds of messages, and I just said no way. I said, not going through them, and I just clicked delete all. No, I can't. It was just, I said no, I can't, and I'm sorry for anyone that's in the messages, but no, I can't go through that. But
like inundated with messages.
Yeah, and like, you know what? It's not like I'm in stopped in the street or anything down home, Joe. It's not like that. Just Kerry's a big football county. But I think the reason come around to fight time, like the reason people want to watch it so bad, and the reason people want to have it in the INEC so bad, and just to see me come home, is because it's different. Yeah. You know, it's a football game in Kerry every week. Joe, they love football. We do love football down there. Yeah. But it's completely unknown to them. Like a professional boxing contest coming down to Kerry, it'd be absolutely nuts, I think.
Yeah, I think you might be right there. I think it's that kind of idea that it's something different and exciting and new, and they have someone like one of their own to get behind. Yeah, I think it could be a serious event.
Yeah, it'd be nuts. And like, as I say, in the INEC, and the reason I say I'd love something, domestic title there, is because obviously I've made it loud and clear that I want to go on and win a European title in the next couple of years. The next 3 years, let's say, being realistic, I want to win a European title. But like, if I could get, let's say, an Irish title and win it in the INEC, I'd love to just come back in and challenge or defend the European title. Maybe something bigger down there, Joe, like a stadium, because obviously in a couple of years I plan to be a lot bigger than what I am now.
Yeah, 100%. So that was going to be my next question. What are your kind of goals, immediate and kind of semi-long-term goals? Obviously, you just mentioned there the European title. Is that kind of where you see yourself getting to, or is it that you feel like that's quite a realistic goal for you at the moment, and then kind of anything that comes after it, or is that kind of your mentality towards it?
That's not the end goal, but it's the most realistic for where I am right now.
Yeah.
For right now, like, the European title isn't small, Joe.
No,
saying it's the most realistic. I do think I'll win the European title, and what comes after the European title? People win European title and they're straight into a world title fight in their next fight, things like that.
Exactly.
So it's the most realistic goal right now, but it's not an end goal.
100%. So how quickly would you like to be aiming for the Celtic title, the Irish title? I would assume within the next few fights, four fights odd?
Like, again, I'm going to sit down with Lynn and Steve, and we're going to talk about that over in Spain after my next fight. But yeah, I'm just thinking of the weight class. I really am the one there to fight for it right now. I've got the 6-rounder under my belt. Not sure how many others do. I'm not cutting anyone. I actually don't, John. I'm not really looking into the weight class like that. But yeah, next couple of fights, as I said, I'm leaving it all down to my coach Jono. See when he thinks I'm ready. But I'm feeling good about it over maybe the next 3 fights, 3-4 fights.
3-4 fights.
Yeah,
brilliant,
all going well. Yeah.
So, do we think that Taylor McGoldrick could be the name in there with you for the Irish title, perhaps?
Who knows? Look, I'm going to start cutting them. No, look, I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care, and I know. Look, people have been mentioning my name, which is why we had the Taylor McGoldrick thing, and then it built, and everyone's asking me about that. Like, you know, then I see Robert Burke mention my name, and then when that happened, I was kind of like, right, I can't just get into a spat with everyone. So I said, you know what, stand back, come off social media. Well, not come off social media, but just take a stand back. And you know, I think I built that Taylor McGoldrick fight, not too much, because obviously people want to see it now, but I got too into it, and I can't do that when I have fights coming up. Would I like it to be him? Yeah, I'd love to knock him out and raise the Irish strap over his head. Yeah, definitely. Because there were a few things said there that I don't like, but yeah, I'd like to fight him for it. But look, it's not who I fight for; it's what I'm fighting for, and that's really it at the end of the day. You know, I win that Irish title and you know, get a few bigger fights in and go on for that European title. And saying that, like, I was talking with my coach about other names before or after an Irish title, or they could eliminate an Irish title. I don't know, like names that are in the top 200 and the top 150, and that I'd like to fight. They could just catapult me way up in the rankings. They could see me fighting for a European title before a domestic title, but not saying I want to avoid that. I'd love to do the traditional route, Celtic, Irish, European. Yeah. But anything's possible right now, to be honest. Yeah,
that would be amazing, man. That kind of Celtic Irish route into European. I think it's definitely a good route to get those right kind of fights, because they demand a certain level of opponent, I suppose. You know, especially the Irish title, which is always going to be a good level of fight.
A domestic fight is. I'm not saying it's going to be a lot harder, but some of them are a lot tougher than fighting for a European title, because you know when you have that domestic fight and it's bragging rights, you know, in Ireland, you know, it's a lot tougher than fighting for a European title against someone from Spain or you know, wherever they're from. There's bragging rights on the table that builds things a lot more.
I get what you mean. So with that in mind, is there anyone that you have in your sights for the next few fights, or anyone like in Britain and Ireland that you see that you kind of go, I'd like to fight him, or I think that might be a realistic fight down the line? Is there any kind of names?
Like, it's down to what I want, and you know, that's the titles. But if I was to pick a fight over the next 2 fights that I'd like to fight next, it'd probably be Dmitrii Chudinov in Russia. I don't know why. I watched his fights, and he's fought some huge names. Like, he was the WBA World Interim Champion. And I just look at him, he's a real fighter, and it's just something about him when I'm watching him. I just love to be in there and just love trading leather with him. And that's I said it to my coach and all. I said I'd love that fight. I just absolutely love that fight, and I don't know what it is about it, but I just love that fight.
Dmitrii Chudinov, okay, so the brother of the world champion who fought Groves, of course. Dmitrii Chudinov boxed Chris Eubank Jr., of course,
He's fought a lot of names, a lot of names. Real huge puncher as well, like, but that's look, if you're not in boxing, or if you're in boxing and avoiding them types of fights, there's no point in being in the sport. What is your end goal otherwise? You know, they're the bigger fights you kind of want.
Definitely.
And that's a fight I fucking love. I just love it.
So how soon would you like that? In the next couple of fights, next 2-3 fights?
Oh, well, like, this isn't something that's been talked about at all, you know. This is, like, when this goes out, this is Stephen and Linner's first time even hearing this. This isn't me calling them out or saying that fight's happening, you know, but and just saying that's a fight I'd love. Like, if they came to me with that fight in 3 fights' time, I'd take it. Yeah.
Tell you what, that would be some scalp as well. Like, I think that's as well another thing that would be amazing, and maybe we could try and see more of it with the Irish guys. Like, if you could just get a scalp from a decent name, I think it would help to really push the profile as well internationally, not just kind of locally, you know what I mean? That kind of name would be amazing, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and like, the thing is, I'm not saying that name to build myself off it. If there was a contract put, I'd sign it. And how many people in Ireland, if you give them a name like that, they'd say, oh yeah, I'd fight him. When the contract is there, you know, they're nowhere to be seen.
It's different.
So I'm like, planting that seed now. You know, that's bring me the contract.
You heard it here first, people. Look, Kev, we'll leave it there because I've taken up enough of your time. You're obviously going down sparring now in Logue. Thanks very much for giving me some time. I really appreciate it. Best of luck with the rest of your prep going into the 26th. I'm going to be there, I believe, in Alicante, so I'm looking forward to catching up with you. Probably not before the fight, but directly after the fight, hopefully we can have a catch up. And yeah, look, best of luck, as I say, and thanks very much.
Yeah, look, nice one. Thanks for having me. Yeah, it's been great. Thanks very much.
Thanks, mate. Sam Logue here for Green Blood Boxing with Kevin Cronin. Peace.